Well, welcome back to the channel. We were at the Prairie Gold Rush show in Auburn, Indiana the last couple days, and I just posted a video on that. So if you want to see some good tractors, we had a really good time. Sorry if you missed it. If you were there, that's great. And if you were there and I got to talk to you, even better. Saw a lot of people that watch the channel and talked to a lot of old friends, and yeah, we had a good time. So the other good thing that came out of that, as you can see out of the corner of the picture, is, oh yeah, picked up some stuff. So I got two wheels for the 302 diesel that is down at my uncle's. Most importantly, on this project is we got this hydraulic tank that we're going to be messing with to get mounted up on there. This one's in a lot better shape than the one that I had. And yeah, so today what I want to probably do is I want to get that mounted up on the front of the tractor, because part of what came with that hydraulic tank is, I thought it was sitting up here. There's a bracket that goes right there. I don't know where I put it. I was messing with it yesterday. Might be over on the workbench. I'll show it to you in a few minutes, but that bracket's got to come up in order to support the fuel tank, because normally you would put a bolt down through the back end of that support, but with this, where it sits, that doesn't work. So show you how we're going to fix that. But main thing is we can get the radiator up on here, but I got to move some stuff around so we can get the gantry over here, and which means moving a whole lot of stuff out of the way so you can bring the gantry in and get it swung back through here, so I can then lower it down on top of there. But that's what I got. These rims are in nice shape for what sometimes they can be. There is some rust around on the inside here, but I'll wire wheel all that off, and then clean them up, and then probably sandblast at the end to get a good nice finish on the outside. But yeah, I'll go through and get these nice and cleaned up, and then we'll paint them. But out here, probably wire wheel the worst of it, and then to smooth it down, and then hit it with the sandblaster to give me a nice smooth finish for paint. The main thing is, that's what you want to see. You want to see a good valve stem hole. There's some rust on the inside, but I can live with that, because when they start eating away and you don't have a good clean hole anymore, that's when the rim's not worth a whole lot. You do have a little bit of damage right there, but I can hammer that out, I think. So pretty happy with these. This one I think is the worst of the two, and it'll just take a little bit more grinding. But the reason I wire wheel before I sandblast is, if you've ever done any sandblasting, sand takes forever on heavy rust, and a wire wheel makes pretty quick work of rust. So I'd rather wire wheel first, even though it's not fun, and then sandblast second and go a little faster. Altogether, it probably takes the same amount of time, but you just make a lot more headway when you do that. And then something else that we'll do today, I did this on Thursday or Friday, I forget which. Here's that bracket. I knew it was over here. This bracket's fairly important for that front part, but I got the steering pump removed. It literally was taking a couple bolts out of the back. We put it back together. I'll show that to you. And then tapping on the outside here and separating the two. Got the new O-ring in there. Clean this up. I'm going to probably use some RTV to make sure that going back together, I don't have any leaks, I think is what I'm going to try to do, because I'm tired of having leaks. But we'll deal with that here in a little bit. I think first off, the first thing that I want to do is work on moving things around so we can get the radiator up on there. It would be fun. I've got clamps, I've got my hose to go on the bottom, which you have to put on first, which I'll show you here in a few minutes. So, all right, let me move some things around. Something else I forgot to mention is I did pick up these screens from Clint Stom for the front of the A4T. These side screens work with the, since this is a flat nose, I didn't have those. And that other one will go behind the grill, the bigger one piece that's behind it. But anyway, I've been messing, kind of cleaned. See how I cleaned an area? Hopefully I can get the gantry in here. But getting this mounted on there was a pain. So I had to go with a smaller bolt to leave clearance to get the hose over this without being able to put the bolt through first. Just wasn't enough clearance. Kind of frustrating, but anyway, went with a hardened bolt, so it should be fine. Just one size smaller, but it should give me enough. If you can see it, kind of turn you sideways there. Should give me enough clearance to get that hose on there. And then I'm going to leave this loose to get it lined up, to get that bolt in here, and then I'll tighten that down after I get that bolt through there to make all that nice and snug. And then I cleaned off my my rolling toolbox here. This platform up here is great to pile stuff on. So clean that off, and we'll bring, now I'll work on getting the gantry over here to see if we can get this thing mounted up on here. All right, had to move the hot water pressure washer out of the way, but got the gantry set up. I did put the lower hose on here. So I've got that on there. I did pre-lube the inside of that with some grease. Did the same thing up here because it's a real pain to get that to slip on over here. I remember the last time I fought with that for quite a while to get that on there, but we'll see how that goes today. And once again, got tools accumulating every place because I need tools. So. All right, I'm not going to make you listen to me crank this thing up on the chain fall, but I'll bring you back when I got it kind of, when I'm putting it in place here. All right, I've got it lifted up, sitting, I just let a little bit of the pressure off, and now I can start sliding it back, hopefully to catch. Got to get it to slip on here as it comes back. I've got my clamp on there, so I don't forget that, because then I would be extremely upset if I fight to get that on. And when I finally get it on, I don't have my clamp on there. That'd be bad. So, all right, I gotta figure out a way to get you guys set up to watch this, and I've got to start working this thing way back. There's, I've got this hose here. I got some things I gotta look out for, but we'll get her figured out here in just a second. I'm going to try sitting you there. Unfortunately, you're probably going to see my back some, but I don't know where else to sit you that's going to help you watch what I'm doing. So we're going to give this a shot. I guess first thing I need to do is walk it back just a little. And some of that is I got to move the gantry with it. Got the front of the gantry is on some cardboard, so it doesn't, on the other side, so it doesn't want to go real easily. I got my hose right about where it needs to be. I'm going to let a little bit more. Get that lined up a little bit better, and a little bit more weight on there. Push the other side a little bit. And it's doing what it did the last time on the hose. It's the bottom. It needs to go around the bottom, and it's up, or it's not going to slip on because it's might go. Nope, it's hanging up on the bottom. So I need a screwdriver in there to pop that out over. I need a small screwdriver. All right, I just ran a screwdriver around it. I think I got it. You would have been staring at my back while I did that, so I'm gonna come over here and look at it. I think I look good. Give it a couple shoves there, see if that, I think I'm good. Pre-lubing it with some grease, I think, helped me this time. I don't think I did that the last time. All right, I'll get my clamp kind of around there. I have to open it up a little bit. And then the other thing I need to do is line up my holes here. So I'm going to take a little bit more tension off. To make sure that I'm where I need to be. And then I got to line up some holes here. So I think I'm off to this side just a little. And I need a flashlight in order to see how everything should be lining up, but I'm close. I do know that I'm close. So, all right, got that part done. Might move you here before I go any further so you can see what I'm trying to accomplish. All right, after a whole bunch of shoving around to get everything lined up, I got this bolt started. I've got one right there that I've got started. I've got one up here and then one way back in under there, which you can get from the other side by the alternator. So I got them all started. These should be loose so I can get them to where they need to be here. Not really lining up with a hole, which is weird. That goes back there. I might have to go out and look at the other one to see what hole these hit. I know they go someplace. I mean, rumor has it they go someplace. I know where they go, it's been a while. We'll get it figured out. Yeah, I gotta go out and look at the other one, I guess, because might be I put that thing on there wrong, and that goes, I'm pretty sure this is how it is on the other one. I'll figure this out, but there's a possibility I put that on wrong. Just talking to myself here. You guys are kind of used to that. All right, let me tighten these down. I got to go get a 3/4 wrench and get those tightened down, and then I'll figure out what I got going on with the oil cooler here, and I'll bring you back for that, because if I made a mistake, I'll certainly share it with you. All right, I just went out and looked at the other A4T, and I was correct. This isn't right, and I was wrong if you saw me mount all this up. So the Radiator shop screwed up how they put those brackets on there. Yeah, they might have, but anyway, I'm wrong. So, see how I have it coming out this side? It needs to go back towards the radiator. So the cooler's got to set closer to the radiator. So I'm going to need to pull that apart, swing everything around, and then put it back on, back closer to the radiator. The other thing I noticed when I was out there, not that it matters, but the bracket should be on the back side of the cooler down there, so I'll fix that too. And then, yeah, get that mounted. Once that's mounted, yeah, because that's sitting right where the tank would be. I know better than that. So, all right, I'm gonna quick swing that around, and then we'll keep moving on this stuff. All right, I flipped it around and I got everything tightened down. The only thing I was just looking at is, I don't know if you can see it, there's a lot of that hole is slotted. So I might have to loosen that and then push that back in depending on how this hose comes up through. But pretty much we're mounted and where we're supposed to be. So I think that's a win, big time win for today. Definitely looking at the oil cooler, it appears the bottom is kicked out a little bit, so it needs to go back closer to the, definitely closer to the tractor or radiator. But I'm going to have to flip those bolts around so that the end of the bolts doesn't hit the radiator, but no big deal. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I'm trying to think what I wanted to do next. I don't know if I want to put the radiator or the hydraulic tank on yet, but I might, because I need to start looking at hoses that I need and lengths of hoses. And there's some other lines that I could put on and check out also. But I don't know about you guys, but I think that looks better with the that mounted up there in front of the motor. It's starting to look like it could run again here soon. So we'll see. I gotta see what time it is, because I kind of want to finish that power steering pump today also. All right, just for fun, I went ahead and flipped those and tightened everything back up. Started my bolt here in this brace, but I won't put that in because there's supposed to be a support on this tube when it's up in place that you put there to hold it. So now I feel a little bit better. One of the things I could run is I do have the hydraulic hose that goes to here from the pump down there. So I could run that, but we'll see. I'm going to take a short break here, run in the house, and I'll be back. And I think what I'll do next is the pump, because I want to get the pump a little further done, or get it done. So we'll be back in a minute. All right, so I'm back over to the pump. I did just put a very thin layer of RTV around, or ultra black or whatever, around this edge. I hit that with some emery cloth. It was kind of rough, and that's right where that O-ring sits, and I figure as that O-ring goes in, it will kind of help seal that O-ring. And then these two holes in here, I just put a little bit around there just to help those seal. And then on the very bottom here, there's an O-ring there. I put a little bit around that. I just want to make sure this thing seals up. So I think I'm ready to go back together as far as this goes. So let's do that. And looks like I'm slightly off right there, so I will, oh, too much. Looks like I'm pretty good right there, so just tap. Just little taps to hopefully get that started, then I'll flip it over, not put it on that, move it over here just a little, tap on this side. And make sure that I'm even. I think that's pretty good. I'm going to flip it. Hopefully everything's still lined up. Looks good. Then I need, too many rags. There's a little O-ring on this. I want to clean that up and put a little RTV on that. just to make sure that that seals up. That goes this hole here. While I was at the show, just tell a little story here. I was talking to some friends of mine that are mullein collectors that are over on the west side of the state, almost into Indiana. They're big collectors. You might know them if their tractors were definitely at that show. So, but I don't want to say their name. I don't know how they feel about that. But anyway, they raise turkeys, and with the bird flu going around at the banquet, I sat down with them and just asked, you know, how things were going for them. There's also no ring on here. I'm just putting a little bit on here. Hopefully this seals this up. So, but there are little holes in there that I don't want to clog up, so I'm being careful. So anyway, they said that they were very, very lucky that they had avoided any of the issues with the bird flu. They had gotten rid of basically their flock of turkeys just before everything got bad, but they said they're just completely surrounded by people who have been affected, and that their whole area smells just terrible right now because one farm had 4 million birds and the other one had 2 million birds. And there's too many birds that what they do is when they've been killing them, they've been composting them inside the barns, letting them sit a while, flipping them, whatever, and then they can fertilize with them. But these, there are just too many birds to do that with. They can't, so they're outside, and they said that just the smell in the area is not good, and I can only imagine that would not be good. But fortunately for them, it didn't affect them nor their flock. It just not good. The other interesting thing that they brought up is that they have drones. Drones flying over their farm every night. And I said, well, where are the drones coming from? And they are not 100% positive, but there have been rumors that it could be an organization that I'm not going to name because they aren't worthy of being named, that fights for animal rights, which, and then the, who knows? They don't know. It's just speculation at this point, but it's definitely interesting to them that they can hear these drones flying around their place every night. So I would love to go over there and do a little investigation to see exactly who is flying those drones and what the purpose is, but maybe somebody's looking into that someplace. I'm not saying the government, I'm saying people that have bad intentions for farmers, I would guess. Who knows? I'm being a conspiracy theorist, I guess. All right. Got that tightened on. I do want to get a better wrench and get on there and make sure that that's good and tight. But basically got this thing pulled back together. I'll be right back because I want to go get that wrench real quick. I don't trust that crescent wrench to... I got just a little bit more on it there. I don't know if I can fit this end around it or not. All right, that's tight. Tight's tight, too tight's broke. All right, so then we need to put the pulley back on. I got my key here. We'll get set in. And then bring the pulley back. Get everything lined up. This is always fun. I don't know why I'm having some trouble here. There we go. And then I went to the hardware store this morning and got a jam nut that was missing. And I also got a lock washer if that will work. I don't know, it might not. Let me give a couple taps on this and make sure it's all the way on. Now I would say it's all the way on. Yeah, I'm not going to be able to do lock washer. It's not going to allow the jam nut to thread on, but it shouldn't be a problem once I get. Should probably be a washer on there, and find a washer that'll fit. Just what happens, I got some sitting right there. And that's going to be 3/4, and I don't have 3/4 right here. So, stand by. I'll go get one. Before I tighten that back up, you know what? Remember when I took this apart and I said it's a lot easier to get a couple of the bolts in this thing without that pulley being on there? Glad I just thought of that. Where'd my key just go? Pulled the pulley off. Oh, it's right here with it. Okay. I'm all right. So, it's definitely a lot easier to do this when that pulley's off. So, anyway, we had a great time at the show. If you watch the video, so like I said, ran into a lot of people, a lot of great conversations, a lot of people asking questions about the A4T project, a lot of people just catching up in general. Again, I appreciated everybody that came up and that I hadn't talked to before that said that they watched the channel. That's always motivation to keep going when you talk to people. Talked to Molly and Dan a bunch. His dad and Jake and his brother were there, which was good to see them. And yeah, it's always just fun seeing friends like that. Need a ratchet. Be right back. It's always good to, pick people's brains about, when I'm working on stuff, if they've done it before and how they did it, what trouble they had. What else? It's always, we talked about next summer's the MMCI shows up in Oakley, Michigan, and so I talked a lot to Dave about that, and yeah, I'm looking forward to going to that show. It's right the weekend before Half Century of Progress, but I'm going to try to do both. It's just going to be a busy summer, but it's raining again. We were in church this morning. It rained so hard we were sitting in church. I was kind of like, what's that noise? And it was the rain. All right, come on. There we go. So, yeah, it rained a bunch last night. The wind has been blowing like crazy. Driving home from Indiana yesterday, we got in some pretty strong wind and rain. Wasn't a whole lot of fun driving, but all right. Fixed, since that was missing before. And then the next thing is we got to put this bracket back on. It goes, turn this, maybe so you can see a little better, goes to the back and bolts down here. So, trying to think what else happened at the show that was, I don't know if I mentioned at the banquet, Don, I'm going to get his name wrong, but Erlding, who had the Kawasaki dealership, and his brother-in-law, Steve Schaefer, told stories about Elmer Schaefer, which was really interesting to hear the stories. They stood up there for half hour, 45 minutes, told stories about they remembered when he had the dealership and different tractors they had over the years and tractor pulling stories, and you know, just a lot of fun to listen to all that. So we had, I think the whole room enjoyed listening to the stories for sure. And that's always a good, you know, you learn a little bit listening to those stories, and you hear how things used to be in the past, which is always good. And I'm missing a nut here. Got to be right around here someplace. So anyway, that was good. This one's just not wanting to thread on for some reason. Maybe I need to clean those threads up. But in the meantime, I can tighten. But I need a 9/16 box end wrench. So I'll be right back. I didn't have to go far. It was laying underneath the pump here. The food was good at the banquet. They had a local place do it there, and it was very good with good pie, which pie makes everybody happy. I will also say, I think I mentioned it, but Miami Valley Steam Threshers are going to be featuring Minneapolis Moline next summer, 2026. It's in the middle of July. I'll get dates. I'm going to be pushing that one hard because they put me in charge of kind of lining things up and getting people there. So I would appreciate if you got Molines and you're anywhere close to Central Ohio, or even if you're far. It's a great show. We got a tractor drive Friday morning. You've seen my videos. Like, we go out and great tractor drive, and we end up at Fire Punk, and they feed us a really good lunch. And then in the evening, we have the parade, the grand parade, which is thousands of people come out in this little town, but it's crazy how many people show up for it. And big parade. And then Saturday, we're going to do the step-on sled, just to play with for exhibitors that are there. And then Saturday night, they have polls. It's a good time. So if you're looking for something to do next summer, might I suggest you come to Plain City, Ohio. All right, I got to clean these threads up. I'm going to see if I can get that fixed. All right, that was just a real quick cleanup. Those threads weren't bad, but put a washer and a lock washer. I can't remember if there was a washer underneath the lock washer or not, but I'm putting one on just because I want to. All right. So, basically, we've got her back together now. Now I just need to put her back on the tractor. And that's not that big a deal, but I'll get things set up over there so you can at least see that part. All right. You know what I should have done? I can do it after I do this. I was going to put the hydraulic line back on. But the other thing I got to do is make sure that the belt is where it needs to be, which it is. And then this is always a bit of a dance to get this where it needs to be and get the belt on it. Of course, and the belt comes off the crank. All right, lined up pretty good there. Belt's on. All right, I got 2 bolts here in the back that I showed you that we took it off. I'm going to get those started. Just had a buddy text saying he's retiring at the end of the month, which I'm happy for him. Disappointed that we won't get to work together anymore. And then it makes me start thinking more about when I can finally retire. I think we all look forward to that. Then I can have more time to do this stuff. Just telling somebody this weekend, there's a lot of Mondays I'm driving to work. I'm thinking about all the work I got done on Sunday and thinking about if I had more time. Gosh dang, this is always a pain to get things lined up here correctly. Get these bolts started. Anyway, guess we could all stand to have a little bit more time in our lives to do what we would rather be doing rather than working, right? At a job that, although we might like it, there's other things we'd like to be doing. All right, I got that one started. Good news. I need a ratchet, which is kind of underneath the camera there. Snug these up just a little, not tight, because then I gotta adjust up the adjustment bolt to put the proper tension on the belt. But I need this slightly snug so that these bolts are there. So it's slotted where they fit and needs to be tight enough that it slides up straight up when I tighten down the adjustment bolt. All right, that's good. Got slop there. I need to go get I think that's a 3/4. And be right back with that. We'll tighten that down so that we got proper tension there. All right. Tightener. This isn't real scientific. I just do it till the belt seems pretty tight, which it seems pretty tight right there. And I'm going to tighten up my jam nut. All right. And then tighten down the 2 bolts in here. All right, she's back on. And now I need to put our return line back on, and then do the pressure line here in a second. Need to go get a screwdriver and go get the pressure line. All right, I got it mounted up. I can move you over here so you can see what I'm doing a little bit better. Went and got a screwdriver, and there's 2 sitting on top of the front tire there. You know, right where I left them. Sometimes you just, your mind's other places and you walk away, and I swear if I had a penny for every minute or every second that I looked for a tool that I'm like, where did I put it? And then I realized it's underneath my leg, or I'd probably might be able to retire right now. How's that? All right, get this line started. I can hear sparrows. I have basically eradicated all the sparrows out of the barn, the other side, the horse side, with a sparrow trap that I got online. I can hear them today, so I'm gonna have to rebait that trap, because there's nothing worse than a bunch of loud sparrows that do nothing. They don't eat bugs, they don't do anything constructive, and yeah, kind of don't love those birds. All right, I'm gonna go get the wrenches to tighten this. Be right back. I will be very happy if this stops my my leaks. I will be very disappointed if it doesn't. I'm trying to get that wrench in there to hold the steel line so I can torque on the other side. And it's just at an odd spot. Probably bumping you guys around a little bit right there. All right, that's tight. That's on there. Now I'm not going to put fluid in this thing until maybe tomorrow. I'm going to give that RTV 24 hours to sit and hopefully cure up a little bit. I don't know if it matters, but it says to do that, and if that keeps it from leaking, if it's going to leak, it's worth waiting 24 hours to put fluid back in. So I'm going to wipe all of the dirt that I got on there off, because it looks bad, and you can't have the energy yellow being dirty. Nobody likes seeing energy yellow dirty. All right, somebody's calling. All right, well, I just walked over here and said, what the heck? You might notice something up there. It's yellow. That would be the new hydraulic tank that's leaking ATF out of it. I'm going to guess they ran ATF as their fluid in the tractor this came off of, but I've got my tank on here, got the dipstick. I'll need to put a new filter in, new gaskets around that, but I just brought it up, put it on, and said, what the heck. Now what I can do is work on figuring out my hoses. That's a big deal up here, but we'll get all that figured out this week. Hopefully get my hoses, and then next weekend I can do a bunch of hoses and get this pretty much all done. I need to put oil back in this too. I probably will do that maybe this week, one evening. But yeah, now she looks quite a bit different than she did when we started. I gotta remember, so the putting the flat nose on it, it sticks right out at the edge and goes up. I guess that covers everything. So it'll definitely have a different look to it than the other one, the bubble nose. So anyway, this might be a little bit shorter vehicle, but video, I can speak. But I got a lot done. I mean, this is what we've been waiting for. I'm excited to get these wheels. I'm excited to get those cleaned up. Clean them up now when the weather's kind of crappy and it's more chilly out. So I don't mind being all covered when I sandblast, and so I don't get sand on me. But get them done, and then when we get some good warm weather, get these painted. These will be yellow because this is a 69, it's not a 70, so it won't have white wheels like the my other 302s, but it will look good. And then I've got those 15.538 sitting over there that I bought for another tractor that I ended up selling, but these have been sitting here all through COVID, and they will look really nice on those rims when they're painted up. And then yeah, so when the tractor gets here, I can just do some work and but get these on, and that's one more step closer to hopefully getting into some shows this summer. So anyway, thanks for watching. Make comments, get any comments. If I saw you at the show, I'm really glad I got to see you, and hope you enjoyed the show video. And I know Moline Dan made one too, so check that out. Oliver Phil's continuing to work on the Cummins video. I did talk to a guy that works at Mayball Tractor. So the flywheel for this tractor came from a A4T. They're putting an 8.3 Cummins in. And I talked to a guy there about that project. He's working on it, so that's kind of interesting. But Phil's doing something similar in that 1355. So check that out, and we'll be back next weekend. Like I said, I'm hoping we're within a couple weeks of getting this thing started. Now it's just getting hoses, and it's getting the hydraulic pump, and a couple other things hooked up. Then the last thing will be some wiring, but I don't think the wiring will be too hateful. So until next week, I hope everybody has a good week, and we'll get back on this thing and hopefully get done so I can get the 950 propane over here, and we can put the low in the 3-speed and do some work on something other than an articulated tractor. I think I mentioned that to a couple people at the show. It's been fun working on both our A4Ts, but it'd be fun to work on something else. All right, see you next weekend.